Hey everybody, this is Dave from West Texas Bugs on another snowy afternoon in Park City, Utah. So you see what I have in the vise here. This is Andrew Guerrillo's Hippie Stomper. And this one's tied in black and red. And I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be. It's kind of a beetle, kind of an ant. It's just one of those flies that works, you know, that doesn't necessarily look like anything. So I love them. I tie them from size 16 to size 8. I tie them in purple and black and olive and black with the royal body. I use peacock ice dubbing and red tinsel. And but today I'm going to tie one that's just a red holographic body and black and red foam. So in the vise, I just put a Moonlit MLO 53, size 10. And for thread, I'm going to use Semperfli's waxed in black and 8/0. So let's get started here. So I like to start my thread just a little bit behind the eye, maybe about an eye length back. And then I want to flatten my thread out and come down. Make a real nice, flat, smooth body. I'll bring it all the way down, right to the bend. Remove my waist, and the first thing I have to do is put a tail on this thing. So I've got some moose mane that I've stacked. And I don't know, I probably have 12, 15 fibers in there. And so with moose, unlike Coq de Leon I can tie in and I can adjust it to length. Moose doesn't really adjust, so I need to measure this. So I want about a shaft length long. And I'll switch hands. I'll go ahead and hold it on my side of the hook and then let the thread wraps, let the thread wraps just bring it right over on top. And take a look. Looks okay. And then I'm going to wrap my butt ends up to the halfway point on the hook shaft. All right there. Go ahead and remove these butt sections. And for this fly, I'm going to use razor foam. And the black razor foam is just a hair thicker than the red. So let's see if I can get that on the camera to see. So the black is just a little bit, it's about twice as thick. So I think the black is 1 millimeter, and I believe the red is 0.05 millimeter. I'm going to line them both up, and I'm going to cut them the width of the hook gap. Don't use your good scissors to cut foam, even razor foam. Or borrow somebody's, that's always a good idea. All right, so I'm going to tie my black in first. And I'm going to cut just a little bit of a point. You could probably tie them both in together, but I really like to keep my foam nice and straight, and I have an easier time doing that when I tie them in separately. It's a little too far. Okay. And flatten all this out really nice. Okay, and then I'll take my red, do the same. Cut it to a little bit of a point. And I can place it just a little bit on my side of the hook and then let the thread kind of bring it over. These Norvise bobbins work really well when you get in tight like this. You can shorten right up and then get long. And I want to really tie this in well. Okay. All right. So the original recipe for this fly, they use red tinsel. So, but instead I'm going to use this Semperfli flat braid in holographic red. And I love using this stuff for this fly. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it in. Throw a half hitch, get my thread out of the way. This is a really short piece, so it's nice to have the rotary on the Norvise to wrap this up. That tied down really good. Okay. First thing I want to do is pull my red over. I want to go ahead and stretch it pretty good. Make sure it's pretty even on both sides. I'll go ahead and do 1, 2, 3 loose, kind of loose wraps, and then just see what I got underneath. Make sure I'm happy with that. And I'll tighten it down real good. And then I'll bring my black over. Do the same, 1, 2, 3 loose wraps. Take a look. I'm pretty happy with that. And then go ahead and cinch it down. Make sure everything stays up nice and straight. Okay, so the next step, I need to build a little platform in here to tie in my hackle, my wing. So I'm going to bring my thread up to that eye length back from the eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and trap my foam right there. And then this area between those two wraps, I'm going to smash down. And that's going to be the platform for me to tie in. And you see I still have plenty of room to whip finish on. Okay, if I don't do that, I end up getting a little out of whack there. Okay, so you can use whatever kind of legs you like. These are Centipede legs. And so what I want to do now is I want to put my thread right in the middle. And then I can go ahead, I'm going to measure my back leg roughly about as long as I want it to be. I'm going to hold it on my side of the hook. I'm going to go ahead and just do 1, 2 wraps and get that kind of situated. And then I'll bring it around this direction. And I'll get about the same length for my back legs. 1, 2. Okay, and then I can kind of adjust these a little bit. And then this loop in the front, just cut it. All right, now I need to wrap to the back. So I'm going to hold both of my legs kind of in place. And then I'm going to wrap to the front. Okay, and my thread's going to kind of get my legs out of whack, but I can always adjust these legs. So it almost doesn't matter how many wraps I get down. As long as I don't break out the super glue, I can move them. All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to put a wing in here. And this is EP fiber, trigger point. And I'm going to take my back wing. I'm going to put this right in the middle. Okay, and then I'll take my thread, wrap back, and then wrap forward. And that's going to give me the space to tie in my hackle. So Just make sure everything stays nice and straight. Okay, now I'm going to use Grizzly Hackle. And these can be pretty heavily hackled. I can take this piece and see. So these hackles extend down to my hook gap. Now I think that a lot of people tie this and they cut the bottom hackle off. And I've done it both ways. I've left it on and thought that they were really effective because of that, and I've cut them off so that they ride a little flatter in the water. But it seems to me that both ways kind of work, so I know that you know, removing the bottom hackle is the preferred way, but I like to leave them on. If they're not catching fish, I can cut it off on the boat or on the shore. All right, so I'm going to do quite a few wraps, kind of pound it in there and get it kind of full. I'll do 1, 2, 3 wraps. And then I can come in with my scissors. I can remove the waste. So I just open the tips and push. That way I don't cut off any of my hackle. Okay, and then I can draw everything back, come up here and get a few wraps going. And I'll take my whip finisher. These legs sometimes are a problem, sometimes they're not. Let's see here. Just hold those back out of the way. A few wraps. Since I'm a glutton for punishment, I'll do that again. This one out of the way. I'll remove my thread. Okay. So now, the head on this fly is supposed to be as long as the body. So they're supposed to be equal. So I'm going to take these and just kind of eyeball it, cut them straight across. And then the front wing is supposed to be a little bit longer than the head. Some people say twice as long. I'm going to cut that there. And then the back wing, I like it to be just about even with the body. I'm going to pull these. Okay, and now the legs. So on a lot of foam flies, I like the legs a little long. Just I think that motion in the water really does something to irritate the fish. But on this fly, I'm going to cut them a little bit shorter. So I'm just going to bring them all straight down. Don't stretch them. A little bit longer than the hook point. And then I can adjust them a little bit more. And like I said, if you want, you can come in here, you can cut all of this hackle off. But I leave it on, and if it's not working, I'll cut it off while I'm fishing. So, but anyway, that's Andrew Grillo's Hippie Stomper. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be tying more. Thanks.